Hi, my name is Julie Gayler. I'm a photographer based out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and today I'm going to talk to you about getting the most out of golden hour with off-camera flash. Golden hour light is known to photographers for being the best light to work with, but there's still ways that you can maximize it to make it look at its best. Today I'm going to talk to you about preserving the details in your scene so that you get depth and dynamic photos with using off-camera flash. Also, where to position the light and the position that will best flatter your subject. The first thing you need to decide is the scene selection, where you're going to take the picture. And what I'm looking for at golden hour is either for my lighting to be all in the shadow or all in the sun. And what really makes a shot have a lot of depth is when the sun shines through a lot of objects in the background. So behind me, we have these beautiful flowers lining the path and this weeping willow that's over the background. And what that's doing is giving the sun things to shine through in the background. If I was shooting this natural light and I'm letting in all that light, I'm actually blowing out all of those areas in the background when I'm trying to expose for the face. But using off-camera flash is going to allow me to expose for the background, keep all those gorgeous details that the sun is lighting up, and illuminate my subject at the same time. So when I'm choosing this spot, and I have all of this even lighting behind me, I'm going to set my camera for the brightest parts in the scene behind me. And I'm not going to worry about what those settings are. I'm going to pick the f-stop that tells the story I want. That's my creative decision here. And I like to shoot a little more wide open for that depth of field that you get whenever the background is blurry. So I'm going to shoot it at 5.6 on this camera, which is a 2.8 equivalent on a full frame camera. And when I have that set, I'm then going to increase my shutter speed until no highlights are blinking in the scene. Turning on your highlight alert on your camera is a great way to be able to see if you get those blinking areas. It means you need to get more aggressive with the shutter and speed it up even more. I'm not worried about how fast my shutter is with high-speed sync because today I'm using the FJ400 and I have plenty of power, so I can use the setting that's going to work no matter what the lighting situation is in the background. And paired with the FJ400 today, I have the Manny Ortiz Beauty Dish in white because I love how it looks for portraits. It's got the right amount of softness with just a little bit of contrast to match beautiful light like this. As far as the position of the light goes, there's many different ways to use the Beauty Dish. It's a really versatile modifier. I like to use the soft edges or the side of the Beauty Dish because it gives me a lot more control and it creates this soft fall off over the face and the rest of the body. So I raise the light up to slightly above eye level and then I feather, a fancy word for turning it, just off of my subjects just a little bit so that that side part of the modifier is what's hitting her face and going across the rest of her body. I've got it about 5 feet away from her. That's going to give me a little bit of spread, but still have a little bit of fall off. I don't like it to be evenly lit from head to toe because I feel that gives it a little bit more dynamics of the scene versus being evenly lit. It tends to look a little bit flashy when you're perfectly lit from head to toe, but with that fall off, it makes it blend into the scene really nicely. From here, I'm ready to start shooting. And the nice thing is, I'm a primes girl. I love to shoot with primes, but once my lighting is set, I can switch between wide angle or a longer lens and keep the same settings because as long as the light stays the same distance from her, all I need to do is just keep on shooting. So here we go. We're going to take a few shots. One of the tricks to pulling this off as well, since I have the light over to the side, is I want to make sure that my subject's nose stays turned towards the light. This ensures that their face is being lit up and their eye line is being lit up, which is the important part of a portrait. We want to make sure we see the beautiful features of the face. If she turns away from the light, then what will happen is the back of her head or the side of her head will be lit, and then her features are going to fall into shadow. So even if her body changes position, I'm going to keep that nose turned back towards the light. So I'm going to have you turn your shoulders this way just a little bit, and then point this toe towards me. I'm going to have you grab the dress right here, and then you're going to bring your nose back this way into the light. Turn towards me just a little bit. There you go. Take a shot right here. Another fun trick to keep in mind if you want to get that flare and that little hazy look from that golden hour light as it's dropping in the sky is line up the sun just at the very top of your frame. You're looking for it to catch the point in the background where it's hitting the top of your frame and camera. This is going to allow it to haze out in the background and give you that lovely sun flare effect. One final tip you can use to give your off-camera portraits a little more depth is keep in mind that anything that gives us foreground, midground, and background is going to be a more dimensional portrait. So in this line of flowers that we have here, there's some that are handily leaning over into the path. I can actually put these in front of my camera just a little bit to give myself a little bit of foreground. She's the midground, and then behind her, the path fades away into the background. That gives me this really 3D look because I have all three spaces represented in the frame. One thing you want to watch for when you use the golden hour light as your hair light is that the flash actually doesn't get rid of any of the existing light that's on the scene. So you want to make sure that you position it in a way that's flattering on your subject. For example, if you turn your shoulders this way, the light is falling on her shoulders and her hair, and none of it is falling on her face. This means that when I add flash to the photo, all you're going to see is the light that's illuminating her face. What you have to watch for is turn this way, turn back into the light, keep turning your face over into the light. If you get light that's falling on the side of the face or the nose, all of that light is going to end up blowing out whenever we add flash to it. So we want to make sure that we turn the face into the shadow and out of that light so that we're placing the highlights exactly where we want them and they're not distracting. We wrapped up shooting at this spot, but unfortunately that golden hour light is dropping down lower in the sky and we're losing that beautiful hair light that we had. But no worries, because we have off-camera flash, we're gonna head over to the next location and I'm gonna show you how to fake your own golden hour light with the FJ400 V2. So we've moved on to the next location, and now that beautiful golden light has disappeared. It's down below the horizon. So we're gonna make our own. What we're going to use for that light is we are going to put an FJ400 V2 in the background with one of the included magnetic gels on the front of it. What that's going to do is that's going to mimic that hard light that golden hour is going to create. And then we're going to bring in our front light still so that we have full control to create flattering light in the front. One of the tricks to pulling off this fake golden hour look is that you need to imitate exactly what the sun is doing. So we're using a high contrast light, this bare reflector pan on the backlight with a magnetic gel. So we've matched the nature of the light, which is high contrast. We've matched the color of the light. And the last thing that we need to match is what sun would actually do in this scene. Sun isn't only going to fall on the subject and leave everything else in the dark. It's going to fall on a lot of things between the background and our subject. So we're bringing this light way back and far away from our subject and giving it as many things to fall on before it gets to our subject, because that's what sun would do. So we have all these amazing flowers in the background here, and I've raised the light up as high as I can, which is going to allow it to spread out farther between here and where I'm shooting over there. I want to keep things as simple as possible while I'm shooting on location. I don't want to be changing out modifiers and stuff a lot, so I'm going to continue using the beauty dish as my main light in this scene. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that position of slightly above eye level and feathered just a little bit. And as I take pictures, when I move from standing to sitting poses, all I have to do, don't have to change any settings at all. Whenever she sits on the ground, all I have to do is lower the light to match her height. Just as before with our natural light to get that flare in the background, we're going to use that same trick in order to get the flare from the off-camera flash. What I'm going to do is turn on the modeling light from the T1 controller just by touching it. And now I can see the light shining in the background. I'm going to aim to keep that light in the corner of my frame. And what that's going to do is make it look a little more natural like sun and help get that flare coming off of it as it hits the edge of the frame. As you can see, the fake sun that we've created makes a huge impact in the pictures. Before we are adding the fake sun, we just have this flat, kind of boring light, but that pop of orange sunlight glow, that golden hour that we've created, makes all the difference in the world to creating a dynamic portrait. Golden hour light is one of my favorite times to shoot, but I really have enjoyed what having off-camera flash can do for my ability to have full creative control during that time. If the sun is perfect, I can rock with it and add one light to the scene to create awesome portraits. And if it's not, or as the sun goes down, I can just fake it with my own sun as I go. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on making the most of golden hour light.